What's going on, folks? Thanks for tuning in. Hope y'all doing okay today. So, I'm just enjoying the insanity of all this. I guess I better back up a little bit and explain. So, before I get into it, give me a like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to know when new stuff goes up. If you want to know my opinion on stuff, leave me a comment. I'll go through, even if it's something that I'm not familiar with and I have to do some research, I wouldn't mind doing it to come up with an opinion on an issue. Alright. So, where I live, it's, the way I would describe it is it's far enough south where people don't get good at driving in winter weather rapidly. As far as like it takes a number of years before they get good at it. Typically. But at the same time, it's far enough north where knowing how to handle winter weather, not only, hey, me driving my car, but the road departments and the state highway departments being prepared and equipped to deal with bad winter weather. Alright, so I told you all that. Well, last night they were calling for freezing rain and sleet, which hit, but in rough numbers, we'll call it 80-85% of my commute was fine. Everyone on the interstates got going a little slow just due to what was in the forecast, but there was no serious issue. Like, I had no traction problems on the interstates. I had a little bit of problem once I got off on the surface streets, but, they don't get the same treatment that interstates do. Okay. Get up to work, go in, take care of all that stuff. And I don't know why. I don't know why that this happened, to be completely blunt and honest, but we actually ended up going home early last night, very early. It could have been trucks, could have been roads, could have been future trucks, could have been out of parts due to trucks not being able to get in. I don't know. It was pretty slick out there. And a loaded 18-wheeler cannot, unless they're chained up and the driver really knows what he's doing, they're not going many places quickly. Especially on ice, which is what a lot of that was. So, whatever it was, we ended up going home. I jumped back in the car. Now, bear in mind, this is a little two-wheel drive, 1 liter, automatic transmission, 2018 Focus. Nothing fancy. The only thing I got it for was because it gets good fuel mileage, and I average 37 to the gallon running up and down the interstate on my work commute. So, I get back home pretty early. I got back home about 12:30, went to the bathroom, goofed off for a little bit, ate my lunch that I packed to go with me, and I'm in bed asleep before 6 o'clock, which is just weird for me. I think I was asleep before 5:30. Get all that taken care of, wake up today. My wife had decided not to go to work. The schools didn't go in. What else didn't happen today? And I know that there's a bunch of small businesses closed down. Due to this. I just think it's funny when the roads aren't that bad. Like, I'm going a touch slow. I'm not creeping. I'm going a touch slow. But I'm driving down the main drag in the town that I live in right now, and The emergency lanes are covered in, or the parking lanes, which is what they are here, are covered in snow and ice. But the roads are clear. And little tap on the brakes, roads are good enough to drive on. I have driven over the years in some very serious bad weather. One of the jobs that I had when I was 18, 19 years old, I was a pizza delivery driver. Jump in and this was funny, I always had, at this point, I only had trucks. Jump in the truck, go to work, haul pizzas to and from, make tips all winter long. This is when my only job was cutting grass in the summertime. Realistically, I could have had just as much money in the bank if at the start of winter I would have just decided I'm going to stay at home and not do nothing, and then I'll go out and cut grass again next year. I wasn't that smart. Well, one time there was an ice storm come in. Our manager at the pizza place drastically reduced our delivery radius in the middle of taking deliveries, so we had deliveries heading out kind of far. So I go out and I'm delivering one of the last far-flung deliveries, and I turn on this little side street that goes back into a trailer park. And it is nothing but ice. And the truck I had at the time was the most hilarious vehicle for a pizza delivery boy. A tree down on communications line that's not on power lines. Good. This is getting a little rough. The truck that I had was a 1997 F-350 diesel 4-door flatbed dually, 2-wheel drive. And I went all the way down this road. Now bear in mind, I'm sawing the wheel back and forth because even just putting my pinky toe on the accelerator, that was enough to get the tires spinning, just trying to go up the little slopes and inclines in this subdivision. So I'm going straight, doing this, trying to keep the rear end of the truck behind me. Get out there, deliver the pizza, slide down their driveway on my feet, get back up into the truck, come right out of there. The only traffic rule I had to break is I was probably going under the minimum speed, if my state has one, which I don't think they do. It's not posted anywhere. And coming out of the road on that trailer park, it was on an incline. I could not stop at the stop sign because I didn't want to slide back in the event someone tried to come out behind me and my reverse lights weren't on. So I didn't stop, but I made it out okay. So that was fun. Well, anyway, we made it through that night. No drivers ended up in the ditch. No deliveries were obscenely late considering the weather. Because whenever there's bad weather, pizza delivery shoots through the roof because no one wants... If people are planning on not cooking, once the weather starts getting bad, they don't want to get out of their own house. So... But I didn't have a problem. The only problems that I've had in winter weather driving that are noteworthy. First one, I was 18, 19 years old, different truck, and I hit a patch of black ice in the worst turn within 5 miles of my house at the time, and ended up knocking down a telephone pole with the front end of my truck, totaled the truck out. That was fun. The second one is one time I got doing donuts in an empty high school parking lot. No, an empty industrial parking lot. And I slid, it was a two-wheel drive truck that I had at the time. I slid the rear wheels off the asphalt so I couldn't even spin and dig down the asphalt and get out of there. And so I had to, my dad was thrilled about this, I had to have my dad come and pull me out with his four-wheel drive truck that's now my old work truck. So, yeah, that was fun. But those are the only problems that I've ever had driving in winter weather. I got pretty good at it early on. The first few years that I was driving, we had pretty consistent amounts of snow, and so I got plenty of practice in driving in winter weather. But I just find it hilarious how much people lose their minds when it's snowing here. Like, I've seen school canceled. I used to drive a school bus. And one of the things that I always took pretty seriously when you drive a school bus is something called pre-trip. Anyone that's watching this that does DOT level work, Department of Transportation level work, knows what pre-trip is. Pre-trip on a bus, same basic idea. You do got to check a couple things that are specific to school buses. Even the buses, like charter buses, wouldn't have this. But you got to check a couple things that are specific to school buses. Other than that, it's, kind of standard stuff. Big safety check. Well, this one morning I go out to where I parked my bus. I parked it at one of the local schools. I couldn't quite fit it in the driveway. Another story there entirely. Go, and I'm doing my pre-trip. I'm in my car, and I catch something wrong with my bus. Well, they canceled school while I'm pre-tripping my bus. They canceled it for snow on the other end of the county. They divided the county into two halves, let routing coordinators have the drivers they needed and manage those halves of the district, north and south end. Well, I am at the garage, or at the bus, and it's broke down. I use the term loosely. There's something about it that did not pass inspection. So I radio up to the garage after they've canceled school. I'm sitting out there with my bus. And I'm like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what's wrong with my bus. Do you want to get it towed up there? Do you want to send a mechanic out here to fix it? Or do you want me to just drive it up there to you? Drive it up. Won't be a problem. Be safe. Okay, I can do that. Jump in the bus. I already had it running. And I'm heading out. And bear in mind, they have canceled school. There is no snow on any of the roads that I would have driven. Pull out of the school parking lot. Roads are fine. Get up onto the north end of the county where the bus garage was, and there's like dust just floating across the road in the wind. It's not even accumulation because it's not sticking to the road. As soon as a car goes past, it's blowing here, there, and everywhere, and it wasn't snowing when I went up there, but they canceled for that. So I just think it's hilarious. I'm heading into work right now. I'm kind of wondering if people are going to if we're going to have a rerun of last night due to winter weather. So stay tuned. Catch y'all next time. Thanks for tuning in.